I have noticed over the last couple of videos that I've done the derogatory comments from mothers coming from women. It's quite elucidating as to how they perceive it all. Is that, the only possibility is that there's only useless fathers in South Africa. When the statistics talk to a completely different story, that fathers have been deliberately removed out of their children's lives through false allegations, through the legal justice system, through having to pay, quite honestly, pornographic amounts of legal fees to lawyers, advocates, and psychologists to gain a modicum of contact with their children. And yet we still have mothers thinking that fathers don't want to participate in their children's lives. Coupled with that you have an economic system where current rates tell us that 32% of the workforce in South Africa is unemployed. An additional 30-odd% have given up looking for work because they can't find work. We have a destroyed economic system that is not going to come right anytime soon. The elections have done nothing to improve the economic standing of South Africa. So we are going to carry on with, from an economic and political point of view in this country, with more of the same. There's no shoo-wah moment out there that says, okay, we've now finally stopped the nonsense from a political and economic point of view. We've turned the corner and we are now going to be moving forward. So if you take a look at it, if we're to say that somewhere between 62 and 65% of the employable fathers out there in South Africa don't have work. Okay, we have a collapsed economic system. Prices are going through the roof. You're not getting added value or additional value for the additional amount that you're paying for petrol and bread. It's, the petrol is not making your car go exponentially further and faster and less maintenance and wear and tear on the engine. The bread is not hasn't gone from feeding a family of 4 to feeding a family of 20 with the increased prices, and so on and so on. So the fact of the matter is that we have 50% of our fathers that are totally alienated by the mother from their children. An additional 24% of fathers are partially alienated from their children. Okay? But yet we want to have mothers, all these useless fathers, when if you have a look at it from a statistical point of view, only 6 to 7, 6, the number 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7% of fathers in South Africa can be truly identified as deadbeat fathers. We have a family advocate's office that awards children to the mother in 91% of the cases. So the odds are completely stacked against fathers, yet we want to have mothers coming in and complaining about the absenteeism of fathers. The other side of it is that the use of protection orders to destroy, sever, and alienate children from their fathers, we've known that for decades. The figure sits at about 52% of all protection orders issued in South Africa are issued under false, fake, or non-existent evidence. The fact of the matter is that Justice Insiders tell us that figure is far higher. We know specifically that lawyers and advocates advise mothers to make false allegations against the father with the deliberate and direct intent to destroy, sever, and alienate the father from the children. By the time the vast majority of fathers have wiped these you-know-what out of their eyes, it's 18 months, 2 years down the line, and the relationship between the father and the child has been destroyed. Then mommy's lawyers and her clever bloody psychologists want to turn around and say, Daddy hasn't bothered to maintain contact, now he must pay for reunification therapy. Where it was mommy and her lawyers and psychologists that deliberately went out of their way to destroy, sever, and alienate the child from the father. So, ladies, while we accept and acknowledge, and I will be the first to accept and acknowledge, and I chased a couple of fathers away last week that we're not helping them, okay, because they are they pose a material threat or danger to the mother and or the child. We are not going to help them. But before you decry and say all fathers are useless in South Africa, please go and look in the mirror first. We have a collapsed economic system. We have a collapsed political system. We have a collapsed education system. We have an economy that is grinding to a halt. There is no way out for the vast majority of not just fathers, but mothers and fathers, the employable age people in this country that simply do not have access to any form of getting out of the mess that we're in. Until the economic and political system in South Africa changes, we can't change the economics in this country. So, while I understand that you are frustrated, it's not the fathers. Fathers are not the problem any longer. We have spoken to government. We have addressed Parliament. We have sent letters to the state president. We have spoken to the Department of Social Development. I personally have spoken to the Department of Social Development, the Center for Gender Equality, the Family Advocate's Office, etc., saying, we are here, there's a problem, let us sort it out. Nothing. We have an education system that we hope and pray that with the new education minister, they will scrap the Bella Bill, because if ever there was a disaster waiting to happen, is the changes that are envisaged in the Bella Bill that is going to collapse the education system, the shoddy, disgusting education system in this country even further. And I hope to and pray that the new Minister of Education is going to bring about the changes that we so desperately need in this country from an education point of view. It doesn't help that 1 million new students, or grade 0, sign in at the beginning of their school career. On average, there's 1 million children that sign in. And then only 300,000 children write matric, where the average pass rate is somewhere between 70 and 80% of the pass mark. So we're sitting with approximately somewhere between 21 and 24% of our children that actually have a matric. How many of those children have got majors in math, science, technology, and engineering? What percentage of those children that would actually drive the change that this country so desperately needs from an economic point of view? How many universities now have to do a year of advanced maths before children that have written their matric can now come in and start doing STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering, mathematics? How many universities in South Africa have got to do a year's worth of maths that all of our children should have done at school? So ladies, I understand that this is a frustration. We are very clear, we as Fathers for Justice are here for the children. But to run and stick the finger up our noses when the vast majority of us don't even know when the next plate of food is going to come from. So instead of thumbing your noses at men and decrying all men, may I suggest, let's work together rather. Because this problem is not going to go away if we sit here and throw stones at one another. If you are having problems with regards to mediation and litigation, the contact details, website, WhatsApp number, email is in the message below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please get the message out there. Thank you very much.